For years, Ellen's motto was "Be kind," but her facade of kindness shattered in July 2022. How's that? Well, some of her former employees came forward and revealed what actually went down behind the scenes on the Ellen DeGeneres show. According to them, the workplace was filled with fear and toxicity. They accused the show of racism, intimidation, and mistreatment of employees of color. One employee shared that whenever she'd stand up against the discrimination, her colleagues would distance themselves from her. She said, "Whenever I brought up an issue to my white male boss, he would bring up some random story about some random black friend that he had and how they managed to get over stuff. He would use his black friend as some way to say, 'I understand your struggle,' but it was all performative BS." Another employee revealed, "I feel like I'm not alone in this. We all feel this. We've been feeling this way, but I've been too afraid to say anything because everyone knows what happens when you say something as a black person. You're blacklisted." And that was just the tip of the iceberg. Employees would even get fired after taking medical leaves or bereavement days to attend family funerals.
So former employees actually said that Ellen's "Be Kind" mantra, it was all for show.
Employees claimed that most of the day-to-day toxicity came from executive producers and other senior managers. But according to them, since it was Ellen's show, she had to be the one to take more responsibility for the workplace environment. Another former employee said, "If she wants to have her own show and have her name on the show title, she needs to be more involved to see what's going on. I think the executive producers surround her and tell her, 'Things are going great, everybody's happy,' and she just believes that. But it's her responsibility to go beyond that." What shocked fans was that during the COVID pandemic, most of Ellen's long-term crew members were quietly replaced with non-union workers. Why? Well, an employee revealed, "We had Friday morning weekly meetings, and sometimes people who we worked with forever just wouldn't be there. Like, they disappeared, and it was never explained." These allegations didn't just damage Ellen's reputation, but exposed a painful hypocrisy. How could a woman who preaches kindness on TV be the same person running a show accused of cruelty behind the scenes? And that right there instantly led to Ellen's downfall.
She doesn't seem nice. It seems forced. People that are like that all the time, she doesn't seem nice. It's very forced.
After the workplace scandal broke, old cracks began to show too. Former guests started speaking up. They revealed that their experiences with Ellen weren't so pleasant either. Bachelorette star Ali Fedotowsky-Mano had this to say about the former host. "I went on the show. I was dancing and everyone came out dancing like, 'Hi!' And I was trying to be funny and personable, and instead of laughing with me, she was laughing at me. Do you know what I mean?" And of course, then came Ellen's apology.
I get sad, I get mad, I get anxious, I get frustrated, I get impatient, and I am working on all of that. I am a work in progress.
And instead of winning hearts, it backfired. Many fans saw Ellen's apology as tone-deaf. It didn't look like she was actually sorry. Instead, it looked more like she was trying to patch things up. Comment sections moved from "Be Kind" memes to questions about what the set felt like. For a show built on trust, even small doubts become daily losses, one routine at a time.
And whatever, you're allowed to be a bitch, right? You're allowed to be a bitch, you're allowed to be nasty to people, you're accomplished, you're a comedian, you did the whole thing. What you're not allowed to do is have a Guantanamo Bay situation in the backstage of your show where everybody's walking around afraid for their life.
The allegations resulted in 3 key producers being fired.
Turns out Shorty is a demon. Somebody stop this woman before it's too late.
And naturally, the ratings went down as well. But Ellen wasn't going to let years of her hard work go to fail, so she decided to rebuild her image. For Your Approval was touted as Ellen DeGeneres' final stand-up special, where she became transparent about her controversies. She said, "I got kicked out of show business because I'm mean. You can't be mean and be in show business. They'll kick you out. No mean people in show business." She also talked about reading news headlines and how she was the most hated person in America. Ellen further added, "I was in therapy for a while trying to deal with all the hatred that was coming at me. And you know, it was not a common situation for a therapist to deal with, but none of it mattered. In the court of public opinion, Ellen was done. And she wasn't the only one. Kanye West ended up in the same boat. His downfall was fueled by one of the most damaging moves imaginable, and anti-Semitic remarks. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Adidas was the first to let him go, announcing that they would immediately end production of Yeezy-branded products and stop all payments to Ye and his companies. They also issued a statement saying that the company does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech, and that Ye's recent comments and actions have been unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous.
Following massive backlash toward Adidas for refusing to end its business relationship with Kanye West, the shoewear company has finally decided to drop Kanye, like pretty much every other company that had ties with him.
Fashion powerhouse Balenciaga dropped him. Gap ended their collaboration as well. His talent agency, CAA, also cut him off. Ye claims that he lost $2 billion in a single day. But fans thought he has no one to blame except himself. But don't be fooled. Ye's downfall wasn't just about losing brand deals. It was about losing the empire he had built over a whole decade. Within weeks, he went from being one of the most influential moguls in music and fashion.
So Gap was the first. We wrote this story mid-September in which, Gap had cut ties with Ye.
To a walking example of how fast the industry turns its back on people who cross a line. Worst of all, his net worth took a jump from $2 billion to $400 million. West wrote, "I lost $2 billion in one day, and I'm still alive. This is a love speech. I still love you. God still loves you. The money is not who I am. The people is who I am." But here's the real shocker. Unlike other artists, Ye had no interest in fixing his image. He hasn't made any apologies. Instead, he's going around mocking the situation and addressing corporate leaders sarcastically. He waved around a middle finger during his listening party when the crowd started chanting, "Screw Adidas." And that's doing him no favors. His empire? Almost dismantled. With no Yeezy products, no partnerships, and institutions taking 2 steps back from the mogul, it really does look like his career is done. Chris Brown is in the same shoes. His career has never really escaped the shadow of violence. It all started back in 2009 when he brutally insulted Rihanna. The shocking details of that night and photos led to some serious criminal charges and global outrage. And boom, fans' image of him changed forever. And it didn't just stop there.
Part 207. The details of Chris Brown's 2009 attack on Rihanna are nothing short of disturbing. When Rihanna called out Chris for being unfaithful, an argument ensued that quickly turned violent. Chris pulled over and tried to force Rihanna out of the car, but her seatbelt prevented it. So he slammed her head against the window and punched her in the face so hard that she started spitting up blood. Chris then started driving, but continued to punch Rihanna in the face with his right hand. At one point, he told her, "I'm gonna beat the shit out of you when we get home, just wait and see." Rihanna then pretended to call her assistant, telling her to have the police ready for when she gets home. To this, Chris responded, "You just did the stupidest thing ever, now I'm really gonna kill you." He soon put her in a headlock and started biting her ear before applying pressure to her carotid arteries, making her slowly lose consciousness. Rihanna then tried to gouge his eyes in an attempt to escape, so Chris started biting her fingers. Rihanna started screaming for help, causing Chris to exit the car and walk home.
Over the next few years, Chris faced multiple allegations of violence and assault. In May 2025, the singer was arrested in Manchester for a 2023 incident where he allegedly struck music producer Abe Diao over the head with a tequila bottle. And of course, the charges on this one were extremely serious. He was held for several days before being released on $6.7 million bail.
Chris Brown was arrested in the early hours of Thursday morning at his hotel in Manchester in northern England. The Metropolitan Police released a statement late last night saying that after an investigation by detectives, they're charging him with, as you said, grievous bodily harm with intent. Now, this charge relates to an alleged assault that dates back to February 2023 after he allegedly attacked a music producer with a bottle at a nightclub in London.
One thing's certain. Every time Chris Brown tries to clean up his act, another controversy drags him down. He was even sued for $16 million by Diao. However, Diao later dismissed the suit with prejudice, which means that it cannot be brought back to court. Still, Chris suffered a major financial blow. Not to mention, his reputation is in the dumps.
A music producer who accused him of a brutal nightclub assault involving a bottle and serious stomping officially dismissed the case with prejudice, meaning it can't be refiled. But don't celebrate just yet, because I did, because a lot of people around here waiting for the concert. Chris Brown still faces criminal charges in the UK for grievous bodily harm and assault with a weapon.
On top of everything, the entire drama cost him his gigs, endorsement, and even opportunities. Brown did try to make a comeback. He insisted on his innocence and fought back in court, but what's done is done. None of it could fully restore fans' trust in him. As of today, Chris Brown is still trapped in legal battles. His Manchester arrest and upcoming court date has kept him in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Safe to say, it looks like his career's trapped, and he's being hunted by unresolved scandals. At the end of the day, all of these celebrities spent years building the halo. One moment cracked it, and the numbers never lied.